Okay, I'm pretty sure I did a previous video on this, but if you're new, this is a Blazer HS 125cc, or Mini Blazer, they also call them. I had this come in a couple weeks ago. It needed a clutch. So I put a clutch in, it went back together really, really nice, and they took it, and it was fine. It did have an oil leak. I did mention that to the owner. I said, just keep an eye on the oil, and when we want to get the carburetor cleaned, we can come back and um, we'll fix the oil leak as well. Um, because the carburetor has a idle issue. So, anyways, he took it. They're riding around for a couple weeks. I told him just take it easy on it, just wear in that clutch. So he ends up giving me a text saying, "Hey, can I drop it off again? It's not running, and might as well fix the oil leak." I said, "Yeah, okay, that's not an issue. It's got a bigger issue than what he dropped it off for. There's chunks of metal in the oil, so I think they blew the engine. The oil was still relatively full, so I don't think it blew the crankcase, but it's definitely blew something in the engine. It cranks over still fairly good, and it seems to have decent compression still, but there's definitely something going on in there. Um, the oil is very dark, and it only has 2-week old oil in it, and it was fresh oil, obviously, when the oil was put in. So I'm thinking right from day one, this machine wasn't handled correctly. It wasn't broken in correctly. Potentially ridden too hard early. That's why the first clutch went out. It's on its third clutch. So it had the original, which blew. It was replaced. That one blew. And I replaced the other one, the one that's currently in it, a couple weeks ago. So I'm thinking it was potentially user's error. They did not change the oil whenever they should have after breaking it in. It even says in the instructions on these, change the oil after so many. It does have a speedometer, so you could say after so many kilometers or miles, whatever it's in. But it does not have very much on. I did mention that in the last video. They're the first video on this, how many kilometers it actually had. Um, so I did order up some parts for it. I did end up returning a bunch of the parts that were bought for it back to Amazon because I buy the parts and then I get reimbursed. So one of the other parts that did need was going to be a special order item. I'm not ordering it since the engine is bad. So I'll show you the oil in a second, how bad it truly looks. But when I removed the plug, there was metal coming out. So I don't know if that's bits of clutch, which I doubt it is. It's probably camshaft or a gear or something internal that's coming out. And like I said, now it won't even run. So before it was running, even with the bad clutch, now it won't even run at all. It's unfortunate. A brand new bike, and already having these issues. But it was either an issue right from day one, and we just kept on doing the little fixes, or it's an issue right with these bikes in general, and it's something that just needs to be fixed down the line, sort of thing, with these bikes. They are obviously China made in China bikes. That engine's probably worth as much as the actual bike. I will try and find an engine, but like I said, is it worthwhile? So it'd be nice to try and fix it. It'd be kind of cool if I can get a plug and play engine that will bolt straight in, hook up to everything that's on here, and work. Um, it would be kind of cool. And if I don't have to send the old one, if I don't have to send this one back, it'd be kind of cool to tear this one down and see what actually went on it. But here it is. I did give the guy the news. I haven't heard back from him yet. It's kind of hard news to give someone. Their 2022 four-wheelers got blown engines, so definitely news I wouldn't want to get. And I know the kid won't be too happy either. He's 5, so yes, a 5-year-old rides this bike. Okay, so that's the oil that came out of it. That is actually pretty close to the correct amount. As you can see, there's a lot of oil on the cardboard. There was even more oil on the concrete floor underneath this. So I'm actually going to put the drain plug back in. She's dry. I gotta put it outside, and I'm going to leave the cardboard underneath it as well, just in case it's still dripping off. But I think there actually might be a hole in the crankcase, but normally all the oil would come out, but the whole underside is just soaked in oil. And it, like I said, it had a minor drip leak. It was not this bad. It was not leaving this much of a puddle underneath it. So it must have blew something internally to make it lose this much oil. So there we go. Like I said, that's only 2-week-old oil. And it doesn't smell like gas. So there we go. I guess I'll talk to them later. Please keep it redneck like always, and watch out buying a Blazer 125 HS 4x2.